Okay, it's a Saturday and I'm here alone and I'm just here at my place and I want to go out. I want to meet people. I want to make friends, but I've been an introvert my whole life and I've always struggled to make friends. And I discovered something in the past 2 weeks. I discovered that for each school year, I went to a different school. So I went to like 11 schools, I think, throughout my whole life. And I think this is why I suck at socializing. One is because I'm an introvert. And second of all is because, okay, one thing I want to say, the introvert tag, it's not that I'm just tagging myself and like locking myself in this identity. I believe that you can change your identity, but I cannot deny the fact that naturally what I prefer are introvert activities. And I am an introvert. I'm not saying I can't change. I can, and I have changed. And I've become better at socializing over the past years. But at the end of the day, I am an introvert. Just wanted to say that. Okay. So with considering that I'm an introvert and considering that I have gone to like 12 schools or 11 schools, one school for each school year of my life, which, as I said, I just discovered. I had never done the math, but I did like 2 weeks ago and my mind blew. And that's why I think I was never able to develop my social skills. Because each year it was new classmates, new teachers, a new school, even new cities, even states, and even countries between the US and Mexico. And, back and forth, back and forth. And because of that, because I was always starting from scratch each school year, I was never able to develop my social skills. And I think that's why I suck at socializing. And so here I am on a Saturday night. I'm 28 and I have no friends. And I wish I had friends and I feel lonely and this sucks. Back in the day, I used to think I was cool because I was like, oh, I don't need friends. Who needs friends? I'm the lone wolf mentality. And now I realize that that's really dumb. That's really stupid. That's just not a good way to operate in the world. Because now, as an adult, I acknowledge that we are social creatures. Whereas back in the day, I didn't I didn't think we were. I thought I could survive on my own. And I could be this lone ranger crap. But, you know, there might be some guys or rare people who could do that, but most people need to socialize. And I dare say all people. Because it's in our nature, as human beings. And so, of course, I'm no exception. And I need to socialize. But with the fact that I've gone to a gazillion of schools for each school year, and I was always starting from scratch, and everything was new every year, and on top of that, I had different caregivers throughout my school years as well, like with my aunt, and then an uncle, and then another aunt, and then another aunt from my dad's side, and then with my dad, and then back with my mom, and then with my grandparents, and then back with my mom. And I never stopped to think that this back and forth throughout my whole life could be the reason why I suck at socializing. I always wondered, why do I suck so much? Yeah, I know I'm an introvert. Like, I'm energized being alone. I love being alone, but I also really hate it when I'm alone too much. But why? Why after all these years at 28 years old do I suck at socializing as I did when I was a teenager? I mean, I don't suck that much anymore. I've gotten a bit better, but I still really suck. I'm really awkward. I don't know what to say. And I just can't approach a stranger as much as I wish I did. I see all these other people who are all extroverted And even the people who aren't necessarily extroverts, they can become a bit of an extrovert, and they adapt to whatever the social environment, even if they're introverts at heart. And I'm like, why haven't I developed that skill to to camouflage and for at least for a moment be a bit more social, let loose, dance, sing that karaoke song that everyone's pushing me to. I just a part of me shuts down. And I don't know if it's fear to what they're gonna say, what they're gonna think. I don't know what it is, but something shuts down and I just can't. And I just don't know what to say. And I say, no, I suck at singing. I can't do karaoke, even if everyone's done it. I I'm dead set on no, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna sing. Or I can't dance. I am as stiff as a rock. If you're gonna try to teach a rock to dance, might as well, try to teach the earth beneath you to dance. That doesn't make sense. But no. And then I just shut down. And it's really awkward. And then I'm just there in silence. And I've been this way for as long as I can remember. So many stories, so, so many moments, extremely awkward with people I wanted to be friends with girls that I liked, and they sort of liked me. But then when they actually got to know how bad I was at socializing, they lost all interest. Maybe physically they were attracted to me, but when they got to know me, I am sure that they thought I was a psychopath or something. And I don't blame them. All this to say that, I'm tired of this. And it's funny how we introverts or people who suck at socializing as much as I still do in my late 20s. It's funny how we complain, how we're like, man, I want to have more friends. I wish I joined this group of people, maybe runners or maybe people who go on their bicycles and or people who go hiking or maybe join a boxing club, whatever, or a soccer team or whatever, or the gym even. And then you think to yourself, maybe I can develop a friendship there and all that. But it's all, it all stays in our minds. And I guess I just want to give some advice to myself pretty much to things to I'm the oldest of four guys and my parents are pretty young. They had me my mom was really young, a teenager when she had me and my dad too. And all this to say that I didn't really have a role model dad. I didn't have a if my mom were to watch this, which I doubted, she'll probably get mad at me for saying this, but I'm still gonna say it. I don't feel like I had a loving, nurturing mother. I felt I had a big sister who was always mad at me. And I just felt it felt like we were siblings. And I never had this mom and dad relationship with my parents. And I was always fighting with my mom. And my me exposing my traumas here, but whatever. My my dad, my biological dad, he last time I saw him was in 2004, and I was 8, and he had drinking problems and stuff, and my he and my mom never got back together, so I just didn't have that role model dad figure, and that sucked. On top of that, as I said, I had different caregivers throughout my life, uncles and aunts, and I had no stability in any sense. parental figure wise, school wise, friend wise, even location wise, like living in one place and actually getting to know that place, getting to know that city. No, because I was always moving. And on top of that, I had no older brothers because I was the oldest. And all this to say that I feel that it's been just me. With little to no guidance, no big brother to guide me, no mom to, treat me as a mom because we had this more like sister, as I said, sister brother relationship and not a loving, nurturing mom, which I know many of us didn't have that. But anyway, I'm just sharing. What I'm trying to say is that I feel I've been alone for most of my life. I've had no guidance. I've had no friends, permanent friends, best friends for most of my life. And I had no brother I can look up to for guidance, no big brother, no big sister. I couldn't go to my mom because, it felt like a big sister we were always fighting, as I said. My dad wasn't there. And then when my stepdad came, that's a whole other story. But he was the closest parental figure I ever had. And I will always appreciate that. And I will always love my stepdad for stepping up and raising me and my two brothers at the time. And then another brother came. So we're four. Anyway, this has gone too long. What I'm trying to say is that I've rambled so much. I'm going to have to edit so much. Anyway, the point of this ramble for the past 5+ minutes is that I feel I've been alone for most of my life and I've had no guidance and I've had to figure things out on my own. And this video is a sort of message to the little kid version of me who would have loved some guidance, who would have loved a big brother to be like, hey man, try this. Or don't take things so seriously. Life is gonna pass you by really quickly, and you're not gonna be a teenager again. The things that matter so much, they don't really matter that much, and you'll see that in a few years. Enjoy it. Some advice like that, because I took everything so seriously, and I was always scared of what people would think, and so the following advice in terms of sucking at socializing is for little kid version me. And the advice is the following. First of all, stop complaining. It's funny how that we suck at socializing and that we don't have friends. We complain and complain, yet do nothing about it. Why? Why do we do that? First of all, stop complaining. Second of all, do something about it. If you don't like being alone all the time, if you would like to make friends, do something about it. What are those things you might say? When the chance comes up with acquaintances or family or whatever, seize those opportunities. Because it's funny how, again, we're complaining about being so lonely, yet when the opportunity comes, we reject it and we stay alone at home as we complain. Man, I want to have more friends or I want to socialize more. Like, dude, you just rejected. They gave you the chance to go and socialize, but you keep saying no, reverting to your comfort zone. Stop freaking doing that. So first of all, when the chance comes up, seize it and freaking go. Because saying yes is really powerful. When you say no, nothing happens. But when you say yes, maybe also nothing will happen. You might not meet a cool person. You might not meet this person that becomes and develops into a cool friendship. Yeah, maybe, probably that won't happen. But what if it does? And all because you said yes. So just say yes and things will come. Whereas if you say no, certainly nothing will come. Just you being at home. So just say yes. And maybe 8, even 9 times out of 10, nothing will happen. But maybe 1 time out of 10, something cool will happen. You'll meet this cool person, or at the very least, you will have this awesome experience, awesome hangout with new people, or maybe with acquaintances you already have, and that will never happen if you keep on saying no and staying at home. The third one is don't get so caught up in the identity tag, I'm an introvert and that's the way it is. No, you can change. You really can. It's really hard, but you can change. Aim for being an ambivert, as they're called. I think aim to be like a chameleon, where you can adapt to whatever the situation, the social environment. It's going to be really hard. It's going to take years and years, but aim for that because the opportunities that will arise from that, the experiences are just vast, and you will never ever be able to experiment new things and meet new people if you lock yourself in this identity of I'm an introvert and just that's the end of the story. No, you can change. You have changed and you will change. Even if you don't actively try to change, time and life will change you. So it's for sure that your personality will change over time, but you can also play an active role in changing it to whatever you would like with small steps as often as you can. Steps like when you're in line or something for whatever, just if you see this lady, this nice lady, just say hi. Or just say, I like your earrings. They're really cool. They're really pretty. And the other person will, the fact that you said that, I'm sure will brighten up their day. And that sparks a conversation. Or if you see a girl, you don't have to be awkward and it doesn't have to be weird. You can just say, I really love your style. I just wanted to say that and you look cool. And have a nice day. Something like that. I know it's really hard, but practice. And you can practice with something simple. Like as simple as saying good morning, good afternoon, good night to people in the streets. That's as simple as you can get, you know? Even a smile goes a long way. And then keep going from there. Make it a little harder. What else? If you want to find cool friends, find the right people, whatever that means, like people you would vibe with, go out. Just friggin' go out. Join those clubs that you're interested in. If you're interested in some self defense thing, boxing or whatever, join at least for a month or at least for a week. And again, it's likely that you might not meet someone that um becomes a friendship. But hey, it might. And so it will certainly not happen if you just stay at home. You know, back in the day in school, it was easy because we were all forced to go to school. Naturally, friendships developed. Not because we wanted to, but because of exposure. So if it's a matter of exposure, um, willingly as an adult, go and expose yourself to environments where you will naturally meet people. And again, maybe 8 times out of 10, nothing will happen. You won't meet anyone that becomes your friend per se, but maybe 2 or 1 time out of 10, you will. And so you have nothing to lose and a lot to friggin' gain. Anyway, I'll just leave it at that. Not revolutionary by any stretch of the imagination with these tips, but still, I wanted to say them as a reminder to myself and as a reminder to myself right now as an adult, because I complain, but I don't do anything. And these are the things that I need to hear. And so I wanted to share because again, it's Saturday night. I'm here all alone. And I'm tired of it. And so I felt motivated to share what I was feeling right now, and that's it. Anyway, peace.